I think it's one of those awkward times in the history of Pokemon where we really just have to come out and say it. Someone owes it to the community to be blatantly honest and perhaps even say something bold and otherwise daring. Chilling Reign is a really butt-cheek set. And not only am I going to prove it to you in today's video, but I'm going to share with you some of the real analytics that help drive me to that point. But first, as always, roll that intro. Hey Gengar Gang, what is going on? My name is Ryan, this is the Analytic Gengar, and welcome to another video. In today's video, friends, I explain to you my experiences with Chilling Reign so far, as well as show to you some very painful and perhaps even awkward analytics that really prove that Pokemon kinda fumbled the bag with Chilling Reign. Now, in the beginning of this video and the title, I'm probably chirping Chilling Reign out for being a butt-cheek set, and here's the truth of the matter. It is really bad when it comes to pull rates, and that is what is dragging this set down and currently hampering it, at least based off the first few weeks of release. Now, obviously that can change. Second, third prints, or a print in the future during the latter part of this product's life cycle could potentially make it one of the best sets of all time. But this video is very reactionary and is also very timely, meaning this data is as of a certain point in time, and as of the day that this video is being released and all of the dates that will be mentioned in today's video, Chilling Reign is absolute buns. And without further ado, let's get into speaking about that. So first thing to note is that I have done quite a bit of opening for Chilling Reign as of right now. So here on screen you should be able to see all of the different things that I have gone ahead and opened up. So note that I've opened up 3 booster boxes, and surprise surprise, I paid well above MSRP for them, so that's really unfortunate. One of them was $144 and 2 of them were $110. Now, the prices of these boxes have come down significantly since. So in theory, it is cheaper to open Chilling Reign right now, but you'll see in a little bit why that's not important. Now, here's an interesting little fun fact, and again, bear in mind that this is a population of 3 total boxes, so it's sometimes difficult to really say, is it fair to do this? In the first, one that I opened up, I got 14 white code cards, which means about 38.89% of the total set of packs, the 36 packs, were white code cards. Now, bear in mind, white code cards are traditionally, in non-amazing rare sets, the only pack where you're going to be able to pull open and get a hollow or better hit. So, for Vivid Voltage, this doesn't necessarily apply because you could pull one of the amazing rare cards in there. However, for normal regular sets like this, white code cards are typically used to counteract the weight difference between a heavier card such as a holographic or an ultra rare, and as a result, white code cards are typically indicative of better pulls. My second booster box, 10 code cards, only 27.78%. Usually you see at a average 1 in 3 packs, or about 12, have code cards. And then the third booster box had 17, so 47.22% of all the booster packs were in fact white code cards, so nearly half. Overall, for opening up the 100 plus packs that I did, I got 41 white code cards, which is about a 40% pull rate there, which is actually above average for white code cards. Typically you would expect to see 1 in 3, which means you'd probably expect to see something in the range of like 33% of all code cards being white code cards. So ironically enough, the one thing we can extrapolate from this very small set is that Chilling Reign is really all over the place, and this is one of the reasons why I'm really concerned about it right now, because it's so volatile. Like, there's no sort of stability here. One of the packs, or one of the boxes rather, only had 10, and that was really problematic because that was a disappointing box all the way around. More details on my pulls in a little bit. Then you had other boxes that were simply outstanding, but even then they can get so diluted with the amount of non-hit cards that it can be very problematic at times. After that, some other things that I pulled were 6 ETBs, so I did crack open a case. I did open up a 1 3-pack hanger that I found at Target, and surprise, surprise, I pulled another booster box out from the mail and went ahead and cracked it open. Again, paid 140 bucks, 44 bucks for it. Didn't even keep track of how many white code cards were in there for reasons I'll explain in a little bit. So, all in all, that brings me to a total cost for all of my items of $760.99. A lot of money, and as you know, in these videos I'll typically show you the amount of pulls, the code cards, the bulk, and I will certainly try my absolute best to get as much value from the box as possible. So, how well did I do? Well, in order to get there, we're going to have to do a little bit of chit-chatting. But first, let's take a look at the set in general. Now, as you can see right here, I have the Chilling Reign set list as of 6/22, so June 22nd, about a couple of days after Chilling Reign hit store shelves. In total, if I remember correctly, there were 233 cards in the set, including secret rares. So certainly one of the larger sets that we have seen in recent history. And technically the official set list lists 198 cards, and that again excludes secret rares. Over here you'll see the product, the rarity, the number, big surprise. The two things, I went ahead and grabbed data for 6/22, and then I went ahead and grabbed data about 6 days later on 6/28. I figured what we typically see with Pokemon card sets is a pretty high starting price and then a usual general decline over the next week or so. And what we expect and what we typically see is that this will trend this way for some period of time. Now, perhaps unsurprisingly, we've seen a delta of about $212. $200.12 in decline week over week. So how does that break out? Over here you'll see this really neat pivot table that's basically just driven by the data, and as you can see, you have the commons, holo rares, rares, secret rares, ultra rares, uncommons, and then you have basically simple sums, right? So here are the prices that it stood on 6/22. This number right here, $2,406.86, by the way, everything is in US dollars, is a pretty staggering number. So here's why. Effectively, that averages out to about $10 per card to complete an entire binder. Now, bear in mind, this was the week it released or shortly thereafter. And the other thing to bear in mind is that, you know, that's a lot of money, but it's also a big set. So in a weird way, it does make a lot of sense that we would expect to see a very large number for a complete set. And bear in mind, this number is just the sum of all these numbers, which is the sum of each and every single one of the cards. Then we looked at the same over the following 6 days. So on 6/28, we kind of hit the pause button, took the data, took a look at it, and what you can see in column M is the sum of difference, which is basically exactly what it sounds like. It's basically telling you how much or how little the value of that particular bracket has declined in about 6 days' time. So what can we extrapolate from here? Well, commons went down about 23 cents. What can I say? It's common cards. The demand is typically best when there is a particular card that can drive the competitive TCG scene, but aside from that, there's really nothing special about this that would cause us to expect a dramatic increase. The holo rares went up by $4.65, but that's actually a pretty significant increase when you look at the numbers themselves. We're basically saying it went up about 33%, right? It went up about $5, and it originally was about $15. So it's somewhere in that ballpark, and that's actually a pretty impressive increase. We'll take a look at the exact cards that are driving that in a little bit. The rares declined by 27 cents. The secret rares, which by the way would include some of the alternate arts, did in fact drop a pretty substantial amount. $129 looks to be about 8% drop, and again, these numbers are right off the top of my head, so do bear in mind that I might be a couple of numbers off there, but in the general ballpark. Next up is the ultra rares. This would include everything that isn't necessarily a secret rare, so exclude your rainbow rares, but think of your full art trainers, your full art Pokemon cards, your Vs, your V Maxes, etc., etc. We saw a decline of about $73.66, and finally the uncommons dropped 69 cents week over week. In total, that means we, overall saw a whopping $200 decrease, so from $2,400 to about $2,200, a total decline that probably is pretty much basically in line with everything else that we've ever seen when it comes to Pokemon. Week over week, things just, decrease in price. People open the stuff more, people get their packages more and more, and so it's less pressing to have to go out of your way and grab the card and purchase it at a premium. You can either A, pull it, or more market alternatives become available that help drive price down as sellers try to compete and price each other out. So next up, we'll take a super quick look. For the commons, obviously, per bracket, there's nothing really special here. You'll see some cards went up by a penny, other cards went down by a penny. I'll leave a link so that anyone can view this down below if there's something that you'd like to see or peek at. The most I saw were some really interesting drops of like 3 cents, but again, they're common cards and they are literally less than 0.01% of like the total value of this set, right? One of the things we did note is that rare holo cards did go up in value. And when we take a look at it, there's one card that really pops out of thin air, and that is the Gardevoir. So the Gardevoir, which you can actually see an image of right here, actually went up by a pretty significant number. It is a really pretty card. I did end up pulling one, so I thought that was pretty interesting. Now, perhaps unsurprisingly, the Cresselia went down by about 30 cents. So it's kind of weird because those two cards alone basically offset each other as cards to compete with. The other card that weirdly enough did basically all of the work was this Inteleon. So for one reason or the other, this Inteleon, which doesn't look to be all that special, but it is a water starter Pokemon, really was the main reason why the holo rare category jumped. As we look at the rare category, we'll see, an overall decrease of about 27 cents. Again, nothing special, cards just consistently losing value. Let's jump down here to the uncommon super quickly. Again, 67 cents. Pause it if you want to take a look at anything specific. But, if I'm being honest, there's really nothing here that is super special, super amazing, etc., etc. For the ultra rare category, which again dropped by about 73 bucks and some change, you'll see some pretty significant decreases. The Agatha full art basically dropped by about 50% of its total value. Other than that, nothing really jumps out. You do have the Galarian Rapidash alternate art going from 51 to 35, and most of, if not all of the different alternate arts we basically saw drops for. So the Zapdos went to 76, down from 92, dropped about $15.57. And if you scroll down this, what you'll find is that it's usually the alternate arts that kind of drove that overall price drop. Same here, with the Tornadus, same here with the Shadow Rider Calyrex. So that's just kind of the situation we're seeing. While these cards are cool and there are tons of alternate cards to collect in the set, the truth of the matter is there's just so much of this stuff floating around now that prices have to drop in order to accommodate all of the different sellers that are currently out there in the market. Finally but not least is the secret rares, and obviously these are going to be fun to look at. Surprisingly enough, nothing is as staggering a drop. The biggest drop was the Shadow Rider Calyrex, and that fell a drop by about $16.49. But other than that, honestly, the cards really didn't drop, much more than that dollar value wise. So, you do have a couple of cards here and there that drop, like the Blaziken VMAX. That card is pretty stable, going from 136 to 131, but if you consider it from the perspective of the percent change, it's actually pretty impressive that it didn't drop as much as some other alternate art cards did. Again, bear in mind, Blaziken is probably going to be the chase card in this set for one of, if not many reasons. So it does make sense that a card like this would have kind of that staying power. But, you know, to see that some of the birds had dropped so much was actually kind of shocking to me, because I didn't expect that to actually be the case. So if you look here, you know, the Galarian Articuno did actually go up by about 56 cents, but kind of surprising that it didn't do more in the time that it had. So yeah, all in all, you know, we saw some pretty big drops in the non-secret rare alternate arts, and they drove a pretty significant decline in price. And then for the secret rares, I think instead of one card standing out as a big, you know, contributor to the overall decline in prices, what we are seeing is just a overall decline in price as availability continues to go up. If you're a collector and you're a hobbyist, this is one of the best reasons to be patient, especially right around release, because for the first few weeks prices are all over the place, and they tend to be higher than they will be about 6 months after release. You know, assuming all things equal, Pokemon will be able to print more of this stuff, packs will get opened, doubles and triples and duplicates will be sold, and the market will have an abundance and will help drag prices down, instead of it being just, you know, 5 or 6 people that sell this stuff because it's pre-release time. So always bear that in mind. You know, you could have completed a binder in literally 6 additional days and saved $200. I bet if we refresh this data as of a, you know, point in July, you'll probably see this decline to about $2,000. And again, certain cards may not change in price, like that Blaziken VMAX or that Articuno alternate art, but I have a feeling other cards will continue to decline, and that will be a major help towards this overall set becoming more affordable. Now, back to my experience with Chilling Reign, now that we've taken a pretty good look and gotten a pretty good idea at what's going on. As you can see right here, here are basically all of my pulls. Bear in mind that the total number of packs that I went ahead and opened up was 195. That includes the 4 booster boxes, the 6 ETBs, and then the 1 random 3-pack hanger, so that's why it's a weird number, 195. But yeah, so I opened up 195 packs and was only able to pull a whopping 32 different pulls. Now bear in mind, for the sake of this exercise, I ignore rare hits. I only count basically what would be considered an ultra rare. So anything that is a V or V Max or anything that has texture is considered a hit for this. Now for booster box number 1, which was the booster box with 14 code cards that were white, I actually had 7 hits, which is actually hilarious. Then booster box number 2 was only 4 hits, and I had 10 code cards. And then booster box number 3, which had 17 white code cards, actually had 8 different hits in it. So all things considered, some pretty weird, wonky numbers. And again, this goes to the theory that I have that Chilling Reign is kind of all over the place. I think this is a symptom of Pokemon going out of their way to print stuff to increase market availability. But instead of following their own rules, they're being a little hasty with the preparation and delivery of this product. And as a result, we're seeing these weird variations where, you know, you can't even reliably pull a secret rare or a gold card. Instead, you're just kind of sitting here scratching your head because obviously no one has a clue what's going on anymore. So as you can see, I have the prices from 622 as well as the prices from 628. Overall, if I were using 622 prices, I made about $485.94 in pulls from my pack openings. And then if I went ahead and used the 628 price, I made about $474.83 in my pack openings, just by the value that is given to me by the cards that I pull that are ultra rares. So let's go ahead and now calculate the bulk super quickly. Like I said before, every card pack has 6 commons, 3 uncommons, and 1 rare. For the sake of this exercise, we will ignore all of the cards that I took from my binder, as well as the ultra rare hits. So if we go ahead and do some math super quickly, we know I opened up 195 packs. here's the total amount of cards that I pulled. We take away all of the hits that I pulled, and then we net the rares. And so now we can actually do the mathematics that will result in us receiving a total of $85.58 for bulk. You can see all prices on screen. The next thing to consider is the code cards. Again, I had literally 195 code cards. Let's just assume that I didn't give them away or do something with them on Instagram. If I sold each at 35 cents, I would get $68.25. Now, finally but not least, let's take a look at the actual performance that I was able to aggregate up towards. So again, we have the bulk sale of cards, right? That's just getting rid of the bulk, ignoring all of the hits that I got. And then let's take a look at the sale of codes, and then we add that up to get a total of $148.83. If we use the 628 prices, meaning the older prices where there was a general decline in the overall value of cards, we know that I had a value of $474.08. That gives us a total value of everything from the boxes, excluding the wrappers, the booster boxes, and the plastic wrap, of $622.91. Bear in mind, at the beginning of this video, I told you I had spent $760.99 on all of the items that I had opened up. So if I only had $622.91 in overall value from these boxes, I actually took a loss of $138.08, or approximately the value of one booster box at or near MSRP. So why am I saying Chilling Reign is buns? Well, you would be quick to think that it is because I took a loss on this set. And here's the thing. It stinks when you buy something and it doesn't have the value held within it. In theory, Pokemon doesn't really benefit from this at all. It costs them relatively the same amount of money to manufacture an ultra rare as it does to manufacture a regular card. Bear in mind, they're manufacturing probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of cards at a time, and so the difference in card stock and holographic foil is borderline negligible at that point because everything is purchased in bulk. So it matters nothing to them how stable the pack rates are. But you know, they've always kind of said it's 1 in 3 and you should be expecting pretty consistent hits. Very frequently you also hear it referred to as, oh, how many ultra rares can I expect per box? And what really annoys me is that unfortunately they just aren't putting the value of the particular set in the boxes that they're selling right now. This first print run, as I very clearly demonstrated on screen, is a hot mess for so many different reasons. From the code card ratios to the pull rates to everything in between, it is an absolutely miserable experience because you never know what you're going to get. And I've heard additional stories of people going in, opening up entire cases of ETBs and getting nothing but hollow cards. And in my experience, ETBs have always given me a textured ultra rare card per box no matter what I do. Sometimes I get really lucky and I get 2, or I'll get a full art, or I'll get some combination of great hits, but I've always looked at ETBs and valued them for the stability they offer. And now, I didn't even get hits in like basically 3 of my ETBs. The hits that I got were either just regular V cards or something of that nature. So unfortunately, the one reason that I really don't like Chilling Reign right now, based on this first print run, is because they are simply not putting the value you are paying for in a box. And that is just really unfortunate because I think this set had so much hype behind it and was built to be such a great experience with all of the alternate arts and the cool cards, etc., that it's just a real sad experience opening this stuff and worrying about whether or not you're going to even enjoy opening because all you're going to get are regular rare hits, and that is really, really sad. So I think this is an important story to watch because we've seen this basically across the board. We've seen the community kind of recoil based on the lackluster performance of this first print run. I do think Pokemon is listening and will probably adjust this for second and third print runs, so expect to see pull rates increase and you know, the various different items kind of decrease, because now it's not going to take you 400 packs to pull a Blaziken Altart. It's going to take like 200, and then, you know, maybe the shiny gold Snorlax will come down to, you know, some other teeny tiny number that will hopefully help drive interest in this set for the long run. Now, the one other thing that I wanted to add in on this is that I was actually able to pull a couple of other cards, and so I thought to myself that it would actually be in my best interest to show those cards off as well, just in the rare instance that, you know, for one reason or the other, I might have come out on top because I opened up another booster box. And I don't know how true or false this is going to be, but we will certainly find out in just a little bit of time. So as you can see, I am entering in the numbers right here. We'll go ahead and move this guy over here, drag this formula down, and then backspace that. And so I was able to open up one additional booster box. Don't really know why I did that. There really wasn't something there that like drove me to do so, but there was an extra one sitting on the table and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll open it up. So that now brings me up to $603.46. So let's update that, 603.46. That brings me up to a total of $752. So if I paste that number in, I do end up coming closer to the actual value, but the problem is that we would need to increase this as well to now reflect the value of the additional box that I opened up. So this would probably look something closer to this, which still puts me at about $100 loss. So long story short, friends, probably hold off on buying Chilling Reign until you hear they are reprinting it, because when they do, they will probably adjust the discrepancies in pull rates and the overall lackluster pull rates that we're currently seeing. But with all that said, friends, thanks again for checking out another video. Some random updates. I don't know if anybody caught it last week, but I only put out 2 videos. That's my fault entirely. Mea culpa. But we're back to doing 3 videos. There's no change to the channel format. It's just that last week was really buns. And I've also been meaning to test if Wednesdays and Fridays were better days for videos. I don't necessarily know that that's the case at all, but you guys let me know that down below. There should also be a post going out to, in correlation with this video, just asking that question. But yeah, definitely let me know if you guys think Wednesdays or Fridays are any better or worse. Obviously, I want to cater the channel towards my audience and make sure that everyone gets a chance to watch the videos. And in, you know, the instance that Wednesdays and Fridays are better, that may signal a change for the way content gets delivered in the future. Other than that, I know we have a booster box to break, and we will be doing that. So expect that video either this Saturday or sometime next week, where we'll open packs up and get them mailed out to the giveaway winners. And as it comes to the giveaway reroll, we will discuss that on the video, but that set of packs that went unclaimed will actually be used for a future giveaway. So bear in mind that even though you might have missed out on your chance to win it this time, those packs will be available to win in a separate giveaway in a little bit of time in the future. But other than that, friends, as always, thanks again for checking out another video. If you're not already, feel free to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for weekly Pokemon content and to join the Gengar Gang. And as always, thank you again for your time. I appreciate your viewership, and we will talk soon. Peace.